Welcome, wonderful people. This is Mr. Ndabezita once again, and we are still in exception handling. Now, remember in the last tutorial we said now we will look at using the stack trace, and why will it be useful to do that? Okay, that is fine. So we will look at the examples of when the stack trace can be useful. All right, that is fine. So the very first thing that we are going to do, that we always do, is to create a namespace where we can run our main, and this will be a console application, and I will just call this exception using stack trace. All right, and then we will just press next and we will create that. All right, let's just have a brief summary of why it could be useful to use a stack trace. They say now a stack trace property can be a useful debugging tool. So first of all, we learn that a stack trace is a property and it can be a useful debugging tool when your program stops abruptly. It is helpful to discover the method in which the exception has occurred. So they say that when your program stops abruptly, hey, this English, guys. When your program stops abruptly, it is helpful to discover the method in which the exception has occurred. Often you do not want to display a stack trace property in a finished program. The typical user has interest in the cryptic messages that would appear. However, while you are developing a program, using stack trace can help you diagnose your program's problem. So they say you do not want to display a stack trace property in a finished program. The typical user has no interest in the cryptic messages that would appear. However, while you are developing a program, using stack trace can help you diagnose your program's problems. So that is why we will be using stack trace. Okay, we are in the main. Let's just have a namespace that we will just call X, and we will have a class that we will call P, and we will have a static void main that we will say it's a string of arguments. Very good. And let me just end the main. I will also end the class, and I will end the namespace. Very good. So the very first thing that we are going to do, because we have had a theory that might give us a glimpse of an idea as to why this is of paramount importance. Now we read again. This system of passing an exception through the chain of calling methods is called propagating the exception. It has great advantages because it allows your method to handle exceptions more appropriately. However, a program that uses several classes make it difficult for the programmer to locate the original source of the exception. This is very true. So with that being said, we can just let me just do this. We can just right, that's fine. We can just add a new item, and this item, it's a program.cs. It is a class. So what I will just do is just to have a class which I will call a text.cs, and then I will just add this, and I will have a class here. It is, and I will just end the class, and I will just end the namespace. Now inside of this class, just to demonstrate how the stack trace would be useful, let's just have inside of this class a private. We will have a private static, and this will be a double. I will use an array once again, and I will call this the text rate, and I will populate this with some values, and I will just have two values inside there. I will have 0.06 and 0.06, and I will also have 0.07. Suppose these are the only two values that I have. I will have again a private static, and that will also be a double. It will also be an array. Let me not it's not an array, let me just say it is just a private static double, and I will just call this the cutoff, and I will immediately assign it a value of 20 rand or $20. And then let me just have a method, a public method. It will be a static method so that I can access it by using the class name. It will be of type double, and it will be determine the text rate. So let's just say determine text rate, and it will accept one argument of type double, and this will be the price. Okay, that is fine. And then what I will do immediately inside there, I will have a variable that I will call just a subscript. Right, that will store the position whenever the user enters a value. So it will check for the price inside of the array, and then I will have a double, which I will just call this as a rate. Okay, and then I will just have a test, and I will say if the price that I accept as an argument, if that price is less or equals to the cutoff. Remember, the cutoff is 20 rand. And then what is it that I want to happen? I want the subscript to be equals to 0. Then it will search the subscript, and then the subscript will be equals to 0. So at position 0, and then we will see exactly what will happen there. Okay, let's continue with this, and then I will have the else part, and in the else I'll say the subscript is equals to 2, and then I know that this will throw in an error because this is 0 1. I don't have anything at subscript number 2. At subscript 0 I have this, and then at subscript 1 I have this. So what is this? This is just the text rate. There's a text rate of 0.06 and a text rate of 0.07. That is fine, no problem. And this one returns a double. Okay, so these are just the basics of already what we wanted to do. Then when you are at subscript number 2, you will calculate the rate, and you will say that the rate is equals to the text rate at a particular subscript. And then let's check which subscript is that. That is subscript number 2. So can I calculate the rate at subscript number 2? Do I have a value at subscript number 2? No. So I know that there will be a problem there. And remember, we are making this mistake intentionally so. And then once all that is done, and then now I can just return. So I can just return, and then what is it that I'm returning? I'm just returning the rate. very important. Okay, that is fine, be that as it may. And then one thing that I can do again, just to create another class, just to show you a demonstration, because remember we are looking at stack trace and we want to find out more information as to in which class the error has occurred. So this will be a class, okay, Papa Fanzo, you can just rename that, and I will call this the price list. The price list, very important. So this will be the name of my class. I will just end the class, and this one it's end the namespace. All right, now inside of this price list, I will have a private, I will have a static, and it will return a double, but this is just an array of price, and I will just call this the price, and I will immediately assign values there. Let me say 15 rand 99 for the first one, and 27 rand 88 for the second one, and 34 rand 56 for the third one, and 45 rand 89 for the very last one. All right, and then I will have a public, and I will have a static, and it will return void. It's a method, and I will call this display the price, and it will accept one argument, and I will call this an item, one argument of type int. Right, and then inside of here I will have some few variables. It will be of type double. I will call this text. I will have another double that I will call total, and then I will have another one which I call the price, which is just PR, and I will say the price is equals to the price at a specific item, at a specific item. Right, I want you to look at something here. I want you to look at something here, at a specific item. So what are we saying there? We are accepting that item from the user. When you invoke this method and you give us the item number, so it will check. Maybe you insert 0, it will say this one 1 2 3. If you enter 4 and so on, then we know that we will have a problem there. So this is how I calculate the price. I'm just telling you what is the price of the item. At item number 0, this is the price, and so on. This is just what I am saying. Right, and then I will calculate the tax, and I will say that the tax is equals to the price that you have inserted, and then I will just multiply that by tax dot, and then when I press the dot, now I want you to check something here. I have the compared to, I have this, I have that. Okay, that is fine. And then what is it that I want now? I want to determine the tax rate, and I don't have that method here. That method is inside here, display, sorry, tax, determine the tax rate. It is inside here. So I know I need to use the name of the class. Let me look at the namespaces if are the same. Exception using stack trace, yes, it is the same. So what I want to do here, I am multiplying by what now? I'm saying that the tax is equals to the price multiplied by the tax, and watch one, I want to take the name of the class, and then when I say dot here, I have access to that. Because this method is static, I can access that method via the class name, and then I am sending, because remember in here it accepts one argument of type double, which is a price. So I can just come here, and then inside there I am sending in the price. it accepts a price. Here it is. Determine tax rate, it accepts a double, which is a price. And then what will it do when it accepts that price? It will come here, it will say if the price is less or equals to the cutoff, and the cutoff is 20 rand. So let's come here and check. The cutoff is 20 rand. Okay, so if the price is less or equals to the cutoff, the subscript is at position 0. And then at position 0, we know that we have that, right? And then else the subscript is equals to 2. So let me check now. 0, 1, 2. Okay, that is fine. So let us continue in this price list. So we have that text which is equals to the text times, and then I invoke that method, and then I'm passing in the price. Okay, that is fine. And then I can calculate the total, and the total, I can say the total is equals to the price, and then I am multiplying that, or I am adding. Let me add to that the text. Right, and then check something. Remember, how do I calculate tax? Tax is equals to the price multiplied by what now? Multiplied by the price. And then remember, when I invoke this method which is inside of tax, what will this method do now? This method will go and check whether the price, which price is that, and then remember the rate. Your rate here, your rate is equals to the tax rate at a particular subscript. Very, very important. But this is on the else part, right? So if the price is less or equals to cutoff, the subscript is at 0. Very important. Very, very important. And at 0, remember what we have, it will be calculated at this 0.06. If the subscript is equals to 2, this is intentional. We don't have anything at position 2 here, so this rate, this is going to generate an error. But let's continue with this. So this is the total, and then I can just have a console dot write line, and in this console dot write line I can just say the total price is, and then I can use concatenation, and then I can say total dot to string, and then with some currency symbol on that. Right, everything seems to be working just fine. So we can go and check whether the things are going to work the way in which we want. So we will go to program.cs, and then the very first thing that I will do when I'm there, I will declare a variable int which I will just call an item. And then when I'm there, I will have a try block, and inside of this try block I will have a console dot write, and in this write I will just say enter an item number, and the user will enter that item number, and then I will just say item is equals to what. Now I will convert dot to int 32, and then I will console dot read line. Right, and then once that has been happening, I will just go to the price list. I will go to the price list dot, then I have here, it is display price, and when I invoke that inside of the price list class, I invoke this method, it will accept and what now, an item. I am passing in that value that the user has entered. Very, very important. This is the try, and then I will have my catch. And then what type of an error might occur here? I don't know. Then I'll just say exception. Exception what? Exception E. And then what I will do when I'm there, I will just say, okay, let me have a console. Console dot write line. And in this write line, I just want to say error. This is all what I want to say. Now, let's run this program and check exactly what is happening. Right, enter an item number. Let's check. Where are we? Here. Enter an item number. Once I have entered that number, it will convert that number. It will read that number, convert that number, and save that inside of item. Very good. And then it will invoke this method. Okay, let me enter an item number. Suppose I enter 0. The total price is 16 Rand 95. Let's go inside of the price. Here we are. Let me show you something. Right, remember we are in the price list. And we invoked, let me show you something. Here we are inside of the price list class, and we invoked this method, and then we passed in the item. Let's check what that method that is inside of the price list class exactly do. So here we are. When I invoke this method, and I pass in the price, look what this method does. This method accepts an item. I have passed that item. Right, it will calculate the tax. Okay, it will do what now? Remember, it will take the price is equals to the price at a specific item. So I entered 0, and at position 0 we have 16 Rand 95. Where is this 16 Rand 95? Is it inside of the price list, or is it inside here? Let's check. Here we have the rate. Here we have the cutoff. That is fine. And inside of here we have the price. And the price that we are seeing here is 16 Rand 95. And I try to check where might be that. Now let's check something. The total is the price plus the tax. So at position 0 I have 15 Rand 99, but the total, and I'm displaying the total here. Look, the total price is here. It's this method. It's this console.writeLine. It will take the total, which is 15 Rand 99. It will add the text to that. Now let's go and look at the text. Right, you entered 0, and we said if the price is less or equals to cutoff, and the cutoff is 20 Rand, the subscript is equals to 0. So we check the price of 16 Rand 95. In fact, when you calculate that tax, is that price less or equals to cutoff? Yes. So the subscript is at position 0. That is fine. And then it just calculate the price for us using what? 0.06. So we are here in the price, and we are taking the price, and we are adding text to that. And then I know the tax is equals to the price multiplied by the tax. Look at that class. Look at the class here. Tax dot determine rate. Let's go to tax. Here tax it is. And then which tax rate is that? The first one. Let's just verify this. Let me just search for a calculator. Let's just try to verify this value. So when we are here, let's calculate this price. We know that it is inside. This is where it was calculated. So what we will do, we will take the price at subscript 0, which is 15 rand. 15 rand 99, and we are adding to that the rate, tax rate. And what value is that? 0.06. We are adding to that 0.06. So we are adding to that the tax, which is, I'm going to add 0.06. And we get 16 rand. 15 rand 99 plus 0.06 multiplied by 100. Okay, let me do it in this way. Let me say 15 rand 99. We multiply that by, I want to use some brackets here so that we can see exactly. Let me I think I have a calculator on the desktop. Let me just look for something. Because I should say 15 rand 99 plus 15 rand 99 multiplied by 6%, and it will give me 16 rand 95. So this is exactly how we should just do it. We just say 15 rand 99 plus 15 rand 99 multiplied by 6%. You are calculating the 6% of 15 rand 99, and you are adding that to 15 rand 99, and that should give you 16 rand 95 to 2 decimal places. So what it has done, it's simply the following. When you enter a value here, let me show you. You are here, you are okay. When you enter a value, let me just run this. I'm entering a value 0, and this is what I have. So what is 0? 0 is the index position. Now remember, first of all, enter an item number. I enter 0. It will read the number, convert, and store inside of item. That is fine. And then it will go inside of the price list class. Here it is. And what it will do, it will go to this method. Determine tax rate. Right, here it is. It has accepted an item. We have passed that item. Now what will it do? It will look for the price of that item. The item at position 0, the price is 15 rand 99. That's fine. and then it will calculate the tax. The tax is equals to the price multiply by the tax. Where is the tax class? Here it is. It will go here and look at position 0. At position 0, the tax rate is 0.06, and then it will multiply that. It will go to the tax, determine the tax of that price. The tax of that price, which is 15 rand 99, because you have a price here, and then you set the price. Look what you have done. You have set the price is equals to the price at a specific item. And what is this? You are referring to an array. So your price will be equals to the price at a specific item. And then I have inserted 0 at position 0. So there it is. It has the price here. It calculates the price, the tax having that price. And your price is equals to 15 rand 99, and it will assign a tax value for that price inside of the tax, and the tax value at position 0 is 0.06. Right, that is fine. And then it will calculate the total. Now the total is the price. It is 15 rand 99 plus the tax. Now how do you calculate that tax? How did we find this value of 16 rand 95? You take 15 rand 99 plus 15 rand 99, then you multiply by 6%. This is the 6% of 15 rand 99, and you add it to that, and then it will give you 16 rand 95. This is the total. Very important. And then it will go to the next line of code. The total price is, and then it will take that total and display it with a currency symbol. I'm very sorry that it took us some time. This calculator couldn't do something that I wanted, so I had to find a calculator that is more useful. Very, very important stuff. So this is just something that we have learned. Now suppose I want item number 1, and then I have an error. Why am I having an error? Okay, let me just run this once again. Enter an item number 1, and I press enter, and it says error. Now let's go to the main. Enter an item number. I know in the price list I have item number 1, 2, 3, 4, which is at position 0, 1, 2, 3. Right. I enter an item. Right. This is 0. This is 1. Very good. Now, why am I receiving an error? Now, here is a calculation that is fine. Let's go to the tax. Now, determine the tax rate. It accepts a price. Very important. Right. And then I have a subscript, double rate. If the price is less or equals to cut off. If the price is less or equals to cut off. Now remember I set item number 1. At item number 1 I have 27 rand 88, and 27 rand 88 is not less or equals to 20 rand. It is greater than that. So what it will do, it will not enter in here. It will go to the else. Else subscript is equals to 2. Right. If the subscript is equals to 2 now, do I have the rate, tax rate at position 2? No. I have tax rate at position 0 and 1. So it will go to the else, and this one will purposely generate an error, because now it makes the subscript to be 2, and it says that the rate, please be careful, the rate is equals to the tax rate at a particular subscript. And what is the subscript? The subscript is 2, and I have nothing at subscript 2. I have something at subscript 0 and 1, but at 2 I have nothing, so this will generate an error. And now let's go to the program. When that error now is generated, here I am catching that error, and then the exception E, I'm just writing console.writeLine, then error. Guys, this is so important that we understand this. Very, very important. The one here doesn't refer to the price list. The price is here. No, it doesn't. When you enter a number 1 item number in here, let's check this. When you enter an item number 1, this refers to an item. Convert that is fine, and then I am passing that item 1 to the price list class to the display method. Price list class to the display method. Where is the display? Let me show you. To the display price. Price list, display price. Right, the display price accepts an item which you have said it is item number 1. Right, that is fine. I have the declaration. Now the price is equals to the price at that specific item. I know you have inserted 1. So this is 0, 1. It's 27.88 Rand. That is what now? That is the price. Right, that's fine. I'm not outputting the price here. I'm saying tax is equals to the price, which is a price at that specific location, which is 27.88 Rand. I have 27.88 Rand. I multiply that by the tax. Now I go to the tax class and I want to invoke this method. This method now accepts a price. I know what the price is. The price is equals to the price at a specific item, which is 27.88 Rand. I know that. I have 27.88 Rand here. Right, that is fine. Is 27.88 Rand less or equals to 20 Rand? No, it is greater. It is greater than 20 Rand. Therefore, this if will not be executed. It will go to the else. In the else now, the subscript now is equals to 2. That is fine. And then the rate now is equals to the tax rate. There it is. At a particular subscript, what? Subscript 2. Do you have any tax rate at subscription 2? So this is outside the boundary of the array, because I have nothing at subscript 2. Then when it returns a rate, this will cause an exception. Right, I go to the main. Because there was an exception that has occurred, I am catching that exception here and I'm just printing error. Very, very important. I will assume that you have understood this. This is quite a lot to digest. It requires us to have a very, very clear understanding of what is happening there. All right, that is fine. We understand exactly what is happening there. Now, I want us to look at something. I can come here. Instead of writing an error, I can say, okay, let me just close this. I can say, all right, E dot, and I can say stack trace. Remember, stack trace, it's a property. Very, very important. Right, let's run and purposefully generate an error and see what exactly the stack trace will do. whether will it be able to give us a detailed information as to where that error has occurred. I will enter A1, enter. Right, let me do this. Okay, let me do this. Right, at exception using stack trace .text.determine rate double price in C user fanzo and so on, line 23 there's a problem, line 16 there's a problem, and line 14. Now it identifies some classes here. Text.determine rate double price. So in the text determine text rate, let me do this. Text.determine text rate where you accepted a double. At line 23, there's a problem. You see now, in this class, at line 23, the subscript has a very serious problem. That is the first cause of the error. Right, then you know that no, the subscript there cannot be 2. Because text rate, I have nothing at subscript number 2. Right, it goes on to say, right, price list, inside of price list dot display price. Right, price list dot display price into 32. There's a problem at line 16. Look how you calculate the text. There's a problem at line 16. I cannot find the text rate of that price item number 1 inside of the what now? Inside of this text.determine rate. I have nothing at subscript number 2. I have the price, but the price I cannot calculate the text because the text at subscript number 2, there's nothing there inside of this class, the price list. It goes on to admonish me even much more better. In the main at x.p.main, x.p in the main, inside of the namespace x, inside of a class p, in your main, there's a problem at line 14. There's a problem at line 14. I cannot find an item. I cannot find the text rate at subscript number 2. So stack trace allows you to trace exactly where the error might have occurred. Let's read once again. Let's read. This system of passing an exception through the chain of calling method is called propagating the exception. It has great advantages because it allows your methods to handle exceptions more appropriately. However, a program that uses several classes make it difficult for the programmer to locate the original source of an exception. We have been able to locate the original source of the exception. We were able to do that. Right. Okay, no, there's something that I want here. When one method calls another, the computer's operating system must keep track of where the method call came from, and program control must return to the calling method when the calling method is complete. Okay, that is fine. This is not something that I want. There's something that I read for you which was very, very useful. The stack trace property can be useful, can be a useful debugging tool. When your program stops abruptly, it is useful or it is helpful to discover the method in which the exception occurred. This is exactly what we were trying to do. Often you do not want to display a stack trace property in a finished program. The typical user has no interest in the cryptic messages that would appear. However, while you are developing a program, using stack trace can help you diagnose your program's problems, and that's exactly what it has done. It told us exactly the beginning of where the error came from, and then from the second class where there was a problem, and to the main where the program was executed. We were able to trace very fully from the beginning to the end as to where the error must have occurred. This is exactly what we have been doing. We did exactly that, and we understood using the stack trace where the problem might have occurred. So guys, I hope that you have understood this lecture, and I believe that guys you are fine, and I will see you again in the next tutorial.